Welcome back to another gaming news recap. Every Saturday we will have a recap of all the news updates from the week as we catch up from the games industry announcements. From development to major acquisitions, we have it covered here on the recap. Feedback is appreciated, timestamps are in the description down below and hopefully implemented into the video too. Smash that like button and leave a comment with what news has you most interested. During this past weekend, Infinity Ward revealed the 6v6 map Marina Bay Grand Prix, which will be playable in the Modern Warfare 2 beta. A short video around a map titled Farm 18 was also released that breaks down the process on how they designed it. A special event called Call of Duty Next will take place on September 15th. There will be a full Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer reveal, as well as discussion around the future of Warzone and the Warzone mobile experience. And most likely some new announcements that we have not been told about. The beta for Modern Warfare 2 will begin for PlayStation users on September 16th through the 20th, while the full beta will be live for all players starting on September 22nd through the 26th. Everyone who has pre-ordered will receive a beta code prior to it going live. During this past weekend, the Evolution Championship Series, or EVO for short, which features a ton of fighter game competitions, premiered a number of announcements for the genre. Starting with Street Fighter VI, which releases in 2023, we will have an entirely new combat system that will bring a new dynamic to the franchise. During EVO, Capcom unveiled two new fighters for Street Fighter VI, Kimberly and Jury. Both bring a colorful touch to the already colorful franchise. This one is a bit of a throwback for fans of the fighter genre that I had never heard of before. Publisher SNK announced a sequel to Fatal Fury, which was last released in 1999. A fighting game in the vein of Street Fighter, the announcement trailer tells us nothing except that it has been greenlit. Bandai Namco has begun to tease a new Tekken game, showing off classic footage of Kazuya Mishima, probably butchered that name, then showing a current-gen graphics version of the character. Not much is known about this new project, but we do know that it should be the next full-fledged game, most likely Tekken 8. Moving on to some general game announcements from this past week, we have the troubled MMO New World, which saw the release of a new 3-player expedition called Barnacles and Black Powder. The game has seen a number of significant updates this summer, including the introduction of new weapons and musical instruments. It seems that Amazon Games is truly committed to keeping this game alive and servicing it with a ton of content that they have lined up. I enjoyed my time in New World, but the launch of the game was plagued with some serious currency dupes, hackers that could insta-crash the game by putting full images into the in-game chat, and numerous other issues that drove most of the player base away. New World still manages to maintain an average of 20k concurrent players on Steam, and I have no doubt that it will grow again. It seems the curse of the MMO world to launch a game and then eventually rework it to something people are interested in. Elder Scrolls Online has done it, and I really think that New World will be able to once it gets its legs. The Division 2 begins the wind down of Season 9 with a brand new apparel event. The game has seen its fair share of trouble, having to almost entirely rebuild its development team from scratch, after Ubisoft decided to keep the Division 2 going about 1 month before the game was meant to end. Most of the old Division team had already moved on to other projects like Avatar and the new open-world Star Wars game, so the current game director, Yannick, had his work cut out for him. Season 9 has already had a fairly good reception in the community, with praise going towards the continuation of the story and the improved manhunt system, as well as the launching of a new mode called Countdown. The apparel events, however, have left a little bit to be desired by the community, with most of the items garnering a mixed reception. Rainbow Six Extraction has finally seen a new update for the first time in months. Eclipse, a new crisis event, causes all the lights to go out in the affected zones. A new approach must be employed to destroy the cause of these issues, with stealth tactics being your best bet to overcome these challenges. Echo is being brought in from Siege with a hover drone that fires sonic bursts. A new piece of React equipment is also being added called the Aura Grenade that lures enemies in and then explodes. The update came out of nowhere this week and is already live through September 1st. Rainbow Six Extraction is on Game Pass and is a game that I highly recommend as someone who enjoys the mechanics of Siege, but not as much the PvP brutality that can sometimes come with it. Apex Legends Season 14, Hunted, launched this week and broke its previous highest concurrent player count, passing over 500,000 players in its first 48 hours on Steam. So much for the push from certain players for a no Apex August. The season brings a new legend, new map changes to Kings Canyon, new battle pass, and a huge level cap increase that brings a ton of free rewards. The season launched relatively smoothly compared to previous seasons. Minor issues still persist, with some players not being awarded new Apex packs with their level ups, or the very humorous bug where you can be playing one legend and having an entirely different legend's abilities. One of the most hilarious ones I saw was from Newcastle having Mirage's decoy abilities, and just seeing this fortified legend multiply himself to escape is absolutely hilarious. Fixes are on the way, but at least this season has been fun and the bugs relatively minor. Unfortunately, not all updates for games go as smoothly as the Apex season update did, and this time, there wasn't even an actual update. During a planned server maintenance, Fallout 76 went offline Tuesday morning and ended up not coming back online till very late Tuesday night. Total downtime was 13 hours, the longest the game has been offline since its release. Bethesda support updated every few hours saying that the maintenance has been extended. Eventually, a community manager came out and said that there was a major issue detected when updating the servers and that they were working on a fix. Bethesda Austin ended up pulling the separate PTS server down and testing the fixes on the PTS before they were finally able to publish the fix that brought the game back online. The PTS remains offline at the time of recording. The PTS was testing the new Expeditions game mode where you get to go to the pit, a location Fallout 3 fans would be familiar with. To compensate players, Bethesda Austin has added a double score weekend for their season pass. For more information, a video from the innovative survivalist is in the description below. Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak saw its title update 1 release on August 10th. 4 new monsters were added as well as numerous pieces of endgame content, like Tier 5 Anomaly monsters. A system called Anomaly Investigations was also added, and it appears to be in a similar vein to guild quests from previous entries in the series. A new crafting system was also introduced that allows you to add extra abilities to maxed out weapons. MultiVerses, the popular brawler containing WB's IPs that range from Scooby-Doo to Superman to LeBron James, found itself in some interesting controversy this week. According to Games Radar, both Twitch streamers and YouTubers covering MultiVerses have received a number of takedown notices regarding modded content. Affected content includes a YouTube video featuring Minecraft skins and All Might from My Hero Academia. One Twitch streamer received a copyright claim due to the fact that he replaced the game's main menu background with an image from Breaking Bad. The game director responded after investigating the reason was that the streamer had been streaming with a modded client. As of the time of recording, no mods have been receiving a takedown notice, only videos and streams of modded content. It will be interesting to see clarification from Warner Brothers and the dev team regarding mods, as it seems to be a use at your own risk situation at this point. In some more positive news, Farthest Frontier, a city builder in the vein of Anno 1800 and Banished, has released into Steam Early Access. The developers of this game have previously worked on Grim Dawn, and the trailers look very promising. The current Steam reviews leave it at a very positive state, so if you're looking to try out a new medieval-style city builder, be sure to check this one out. This week saw the launch of Marvel's Spider-Man Remastered on PC. The game brings a number of improvements to PC, such as unlocked frame rates, improved ray tracing, ultra-wide monitor support, and is fully compatible with the Steam Deck. You can pick the game up now for $59.99. Gamescom is right around the corner, and with it, a ton of companies have been teasing upcoming announcements. First off, Subnautica developers Unknown Worlds have announced that they will be unveiling their new game at Gamescom. According to their Twitter page, it will be a brand new IP that is a turn-based sci-fi strategy game. Age of Empires has announced they will be at Gamescom this year, possibly with an update for Age 4 to be announced. The game trailer that falsely teased the world back at Summer Game Fest will reveal more about Goat Simulator 3. Numerous other games will be shown off, so keep your eye out for more news updates when Gamescom 2022 Opening Night Live premieres on August 23rd. A brand new game called The First Descendant announced a Steam beta test coming October 20th through to the 26th. The game comes from South Korean developer Nexon Games, more on Nexon publisher soon, and will be an action RPG third-person shooter with a 4-player co-op. The game will be free to play, and you will play as descendants who inherited the unknown powers and make them stronger to fight against the invaders and protect humans. That is pulled right from their description on their Steam page. Very vague stuff, but the two trailers give off very strong Destiny and Warframe vibes, so we'll have to see how this game turns out. You can sign up for the beta on the First Descendant Steam page. Launching into delays, and boy were there a lot of them this week, we have Arc Raiders. First announced at the Game Awards last year, Arc Raiders will be a free-to-play third-person shooter from Embark, a very talented studio founded in 2018 by industry veterans, including the former CEO of DICE, Patrick Soderlund, who left EA and DICE to form the studio. The game is published by Nexon, that same developer who's putting out The First Descendant that we just talked about. The reason for Arc Raiders' delay is due to the fact that this will no longer be the first game released by Embark like they originally planned. Instead, they will be releasing another game, codenamed Project Discovery, which will be a team-based, first-person shooter. Soderlund states that the development on Project Discovery has progressed faster than they were first imagined, especially over these past few months. So much so that they started facing the prospect of being able to release the two games simultaneously. In order to avoid the overload that can bring for a younger studio, they decided to let Project Discovery be their first game to market, and push Arc Raiders to a 2023 release date. He stated that this will enable them extra time to add a PvP-focused game mode to Arc Raiders' universe, and just generally refine and polish the game. They'll give more details soon when the game is ready to go into testing, so keep an eye out for more news on Arc Raiders and the soon-to-be-announced, and possibly released, Project Discovery. Marvel's Midnight Suns, a turn-based RPG in the style of XCOM, has been delayed till later this fiscal year. The game is putting together a different lineup of heroes than the Marvel's Avengers game had, with heroes like Robbie Reyes as Ghost Rider, Blade, Colossus' sister Magic, the Runaways' Nico Minoru, as well as Doctor Strange, a Wolverine. Although it is turn-based, the game is reminding me a lot of games I loved growing up with, like X-Men Legends and Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Plus, the game is pushing its own aesthetic and style instead of you trying to be a discount MCU Avengers. Looking at you, Avengers game. Last week, we talked about the news that Beyond Good and Evil 2 seemed to be alive and well and going into playtests. But unfortunately, a new report doesn't have the best news for those hoping for a release in the next year. Despite 15 years of development, the game is reported by sources to still be years away and that it is lacking direction. One playtester told Tom Henderson that they had, quote, no idea what I was doing when playing, unquote. The game lost its director Michael Ansel back in 2020 and only recently announced a new lead writer. While the game is definitely not coming out soon, the good news that fans of the first game can take away from this is that Ubisoft is not abandoning the game, and playtests show that they are at the very least making some form of progress. Our final big delay of the week comes from Hogwarts Legacy. Scheduled for release this holiday, the game had gone silent since the gameplay trailer debuted back in April. With the silence from the marketing team, many began expecting the delay, until finally, it was announced Friday that the game would be released on February 10th, 2023 on all platforms except for the Nintendo Switch, which will be revealed at a later date. As with all these game releases, I highly suspect that the development team wanted to put that extra layer of polish on the game to ensure that the game could have the best success possible. Right now, no developer wants their game to be perceived like Cyberpunk 2077 was. Finally, a few highlights from gaming culture. Rockstar announced that GTA 5 has now sold over 170 million copies, while Red Dead Redemption 2 has sold over 45 million copies. To give some perspective on those numbers, the entire Grand Theft Auto franchise has sold 235 million copies. So for GTA 5 to make up over 70% of that is just insane. This bodes extremely well for Grand Theft Auto 6 whenever that game finally comes out. No Man's Sky celebrated its 6th birthday on August 9th. The game was first released back in 2016. From that point, the game has released a constant flow of free updates that have completely revitalized the game and become the gold standard for fixing a broken release. Thank you for watching this week's gaming news recap. I've been encouraged by your comments this week and stunned at the sudden growth this little channel has seen. Rest assured, I plan to continue making these videos through the rest of the year. I hope you all have a great weekend. Happy gaming.